Hey, 3631 Tactical. Today I want to talk about how to pick a good firearms instructor or a good CPL instructor. Now, right off the bat, I want to say this video is not an advertisement. I'm not trying to tell you, don't go to this class, come to my class. This isn't an advertisement. I'm trying to steer people in the right direction. I don't care if you come to my class. If you go somewhere else, that's fine. But please, please, please go to a quality CPL class. You know, if you don't already have a firearm, once you bring a firearm into your life, once you bring a firearm into your house, once you decide to start carrying a firearm concealed out in public, it's a vast, vast responsibility. And in the blink of an eye, you can completely ruin your life or somebody else's. You make a wrong decision to shoot somebody that you're not justified to shoot, you're going to prison. That's going to mess up your life and probably many of your family members' lives, as well as the person that you shot, maybe even killed, right? If you're not securing the weapon the way you need to secure it, and one of your kids gets that gun and shoots themselves or shoots somebody else, there's a good chance you're going to prison, as well as the loss of life of your child or somebody else's child. It's just such a huge responsibility carrying a gun. Even, like I said, even having one in your house is a huge responsibility, and people don't see that. So just, again, you know, when you bring a firearm into your life, especially if you're carrying it to defend yourself, you make the wrong decision, and it can alter your life and many other people's life forever. So because it is such a huge responsibility, it's important that you get some quality training. You need quality training if you're going to decide to carry a gun. So choosing the instructor and where you get your training from is very, very, very important. First thing I want to talk about real quick is just the legal requirement. And depending on what state you're in, the requirements may be different. I'm in Michigan, so I'm going to be dealing with the Michigan laws. I printed something off directly from the Michigan State Police website concerning CPL laws. And when you're looking for a class to go to, here's the requirement. The pistol safety training course required under Michigan law must be a program certified by this state or a national or state firearm training organization and provide at least 8 hours of instruction. The program shall provide at least 3 hours of instruction on a firing range and require firing at least 30 rounds of ammunition. Additionally, the program shall be 5 hours of instruction in, but not limited to, providing instruction in all of the following. And there's a numerous things that the class needs to go over. But real quick, let's talk about that. I can't tell you how many people I come in contact with that say they took a class somewhere and like, oh, it was great. They got me in and out in about 4 hours, 5 hours. And first of all, because one, that's against the law, it has to be a minimum of an 8-hour class. Secondly, I don't know how you can impart the knowledge that needs to be imparted to people in only 4 hours, because there's so many things that you need to cover. This book right here, look at this. Firearms Laws of Michigan. Look how big this book is. These are the firearm laws of Michigan. Do you think you're going to learn this in 8 hours? You're not. There's no way. And I'm not saying that any instructor can have you up to speed with every law, every firearm law in Michigan in an 8-hour class. But you know, if the legal requirement is 8 hours and you're cutting it down to 4 or 5, how are you going through any of this information and still teaching the people about guns and still teaching them about different equipment and ammunition and how to shoot the gun and going through maybe some shoot, no shoot scenarios? How are you doing all that? I already know the answer to that question is you're not. You're not. Sometimes people offer these discounts or these really cheap prices and they give these garbage 4 and 5 hour classes that, one, don't meet the legal requirement, and two, the bigger problem I have is it's an injustice, because this is kind of a big thing now, these CPL permits. A lot of people are getting permits, and people see a way to make some money, some quick money, and they go out there and they get a instructor certification and they start teaching, but they're not teaching a quality class. And then you have somebody that goes out there and makes a really bad decision, right, because they didn't have a quality class. One case here in Michigan that happened recently, if you're not from Michigan, don't know about this, we had an individual that was at a Home Depot and some people shoplifted some items and they came running out of the store with all this stuff that they shoplifted, and she was a CPL holder, pulls her gun out and starts shooting at them. Ends up, I believe she hit their vehicle as they fled, but she didn't shoot them, thank God, right? And I remember reading somewhere some article from some court transcript. I think when she was in court she said, well, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Now maybe she was a bad student and didn't pay attention in the class, or maybe nobody really imparted the importance of making decisions in shoot or don't shoot. And obviously, I think if you had a quality class, it should be obvious to you, you don't shoot at somebody because they're running out of a store because they shoplifted. if she would have hit those people that she was shooting at and killed one of them, without a doubt, zero doubt in my mind, she'd be going to prison. If she hit one of them and they survived, she'd probably still be going to prison. There's absolutely no way you can justify shooting at somebody for shoplifting. And that's the importance of, you gotta go to a quality class so you learn what you need to learn, so you don't make that kind of mistake and end up in prison. Or you kill somebody that you regret killing because it was over something stupid that you weren't legally justified to do. Additionally, from the state website, Michigan State Police website, the person that teaches the use of force portion, or the legal portion of the class, has to be either a lawyer or somebody trained in the use of deadly force. In my eyes, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but the only people I know trained in the use of deadly force are police officers. That's it. I can't think of any other line of work or any other thing you could do to get that kind of training. There may be some school out there that takes you through some scenario-based thing for a day or two, but that's not the same thing. Police officers in the state of Michigan and probably all over the country go through standardized training that deals with, we go through weeks and weeks and weeks of learning about the law. Then we go through weeks and weeks of learning about how to proper decision making in scenarios, and shoot or don't shoot scenarios, and we just go through this stuff over and over and over again. And we go through a lot of range time, so that legal portion again needs to be taught by a lawyer or somebody trained in the use of force. Sorry, I like the NRA. I think they do a lot of good stuff for gun owners and gun rights, but somebody taking an NRA class one weekend for 2 days, you're not qualified to teach that, and that's by what's on the state police website. So again, if you're looking for a good class, talk to the people, like, hey, well, who teaches your legal portion of your class? And it better be a lawyer or it better be a police officer. If it's not a legal class. It does not fulfill the legal requirement for a pistol safety class in the state of Michigan. One more thing I want to read off of this Michigan State Police from the website here. And this is for all the people that are out there trying to screw people out of their money and not give them a quality class, people that are cutting the classes short, it's only a 4-hour class or 5-hour class, or people that are maybe doing some classroom stuff but not taking people to the range, not letting them actually shoot. That's all part of the requirement. People that are teaching the legal portion of the class and you're not a lawyer and you're not a police officer, let me read you this part. A person who either grants a certificate of completion to an individual knowing the individual did not satisfactorily complete the course, or presents a certificate of completion to a county clerk knowing the individual did not satisfactorily complete the course, is guilty of a felony punishable by up to 4 years imprisonment and or a $2,500 fine. There was a case like this several years ago where an individual was teaching people CPL classes. He has doing the classroom portion, but he never took them to the gun range. So his certificates that they were given were fraudulent. And he got charged for every student, and it was something like 20 or 30 felonies. Every student that he did that he issued a certificate to that didn't go through the entire training, he got charged with a felony. Like I said, it was some ridiculous 20 or 30 felonies that he got charged with. So you people out there that are screwing people out of money and not giving them the class that meets the legal requirement, stop. One of the reasons I do this is because I want to help people. I want to help people be able to defend themselves. My father took a CPL class some years ago, and he was always asking me about different laws and can I do this, can I not do that? And I got to a point where I was like, well Pops, what did they teach you in this class? Because you don't seem to really know a whole lot. And he explained how the class went. He's like, well, we got there about 9 o'clock, we were done. I think it was noon, he said they were done by. And I said, well, what did you learn? And I was trying to pick his brain on how this class went. And I asked him, did they give you anything? Like, we give people these booklets from the NRA and a bunch of other handouts and things that we give people, and they take that with them. And I was like, well, what did they give you? He said, well, they didn't give me nothing. They told me to bring a piece of paper and take notes. Like, take notes. And he said, yeah, we got there about 9 o'clock. We talked about some things. We had lunch, and then we went to the range and shot. And I was out of there by noon. I'm like, 9, 10, 11, 12, that's like 3 hours. Like, what can you teach somebody in 3 hours, right? What can you really teach them? There's so many things that you have to learn. Laws and how to make proper decisions in the use of force. And, most people, I think a lot of people that get a CPL don't know that much about firearms. So you need to teach them starting from scratch about gun and gun safety and gun handling and gun storage and what kind of guns and calibers and ammunition and holsters, and there's so much to it. How can you teach people a quality class in 3 hours or 4 hours? And 1, it's illegal. 2, you can't do it. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to get involved in this, is because I've been a police officer now for 15 years. I started off at one of the worst precincts in the city that I worked in. I did that for 5 years, and now I'm with the special response team. If you don't know what that is, that's the SWAT team. And we get a lot of training, a lot of firearms training, a lot of decision-making training. a lot of other kinds of training, and I like doing this. I do a lot of firearms instruction for police officers, and I want to provide a quality class so people can come to the class, learn what they need to learn, and be confident going forward. I'm not here just saying, hey, give me 50 bucks and yeah, come to the class, we'll talk to you for a little bit, take you out on the range, shoot some rounds, and here you go, here's your certificate. Because those are the people that are going to make the mistakes, like the Home Depot incident that we talked about. Again, as a police officer, I come in contact with a lot of people that have CPLs, and maybe a traffic stop, maybe some kind of street investigation, and a lot of people are doing some really dumb stuff, and I don't mean that as a disparaging comment to them, but to their instructors. Obviously, some of these people, maybe they're bad students, but a lot of people I think just aren't taught the right things, like carrying a gun without a round in the chamber. If you're going to carry a gun without a round in the chamber, you might as well just put a big rock in your pocket, because that big rock would probably be of more value to defend yourself than a gun without a round in the chamber. People that have guns just tucked in their waistband, no holster. People that you make a traffic stop and they have the gun underneath the seat. I mean, why is the gun underneath the seat? If you're legally carrying it and you have a permit, you need to be able to get to it if somebody's trying to harm you or your family, your friends, or your loved ones. Stop putting the gun under the seat like you're some kind of felon trying to hide the gun, right? I mean, there's so many things that people that I come in contact with, it's just like, man, what class did you go to? People obviously didn't teach you anything, because you're making a whole lot of mistakes that's going to get you in trouble, maybe not legally, but tactically. If something does happen and you have to use that gun, not a round in the chamber, you're going to be in trouble. Somebody does try to come up, say carjack you, and your gun is stuffed away underneath the seat, you're going to be in trouble. If you're taking a live loaded gun and tucking it into your waistband and there's no holster, when that thing slides down your pant leg and falls off, or when that trigger gets caught on something and goes off, you're going to be in trouble. Trust me, I know people. I'm not going to name no names, but I know people that have put a gun in their pocket without a holster, and the doggone thing got caught on something and went off, and ended up shooting themselves in the leg. It happens, but you got to go to a quality class so you don't make these type of mistakes. Another thing that I would suggest, and this is not quite as important, maybe try to seek out somebody that has some experience, a law enforcement officer, somebody who's in the military, somebody that has that experience of facing somebody who's armed, facing that deadly threat. Not saying you got to be some cowboy and have been involved in a bunch of shootings to be a good instructor. That's not true. You don't have to do that. But can you really explain to me what it's like to have bullets whizzing past your head if you've never had that happen? Can you explain to me what it's like to be investigated for being involved in a shooting if you've never had that happen? Can you explain to me what it's like to be a part of that investigation on the other side of it, like investigating other people who have shot individuals, CPL holders who have been involved in shootings? Have you seen those investigations and how they go and how they play through the court system? More than just what the media reports. I mean, actually been there in the courtroom testifying and going through all these things. So that'd be another consideration. If you can, try to find somebody who is a law enforcement officer, or again, maybe military, and they have that actual experience. Again, I'm not trying to bash the NRA, because I'm an NRA certified instructor, and no problem with the NRA, but I do have a problem sometimes when people take this 2-day weekend course on how to be an instructor, and now they're teaching people, and they have no other experience whatsoever when it comes to carrying a gun or using a gun, to defend themselves. No other experience. Try to find somebody that has some life experience. So just a real quick recap: if you're getting a CPL in Michigan, you're taking a class, ask your instructor 2 things. How long is this class? Make sure it's a minimum of 8 hours. If it's not, it doesn't meet the legal requirement. Ask them who's teaching the legal portion of the class. Is it a lawyer, or is it somebody trained in the use of deadly force, like a law enforcement officer? If it's not, go somewhere else. If they're going to have a class that's less than 8 hours, and they're going to have a class that's not taught by people who are trained in the use of force or a lawyer, go somewhere else. Ask somebody about their background. Are they law enforcement? Were they military? What experience do you have that is going to allow you to teach me how to carry a gun and how to defend myself, other than you took a 2-day class somewhere? Ask. Don't be afraid to ask these people. And don't. All right, last thing I want to say here is just, again, this is not an advertisement for my program. This is a public service announcement, if you will, because there are a lot of people out there, good quality instructors that know what they're doing, and they're certified, and they teach really good classes. There's a whole bunch of people like that out there. I just want you to avoid the people that are cutting corners, not offering a class that fulfills the legal requirement, and shortchanging you, not teaching you what you need to know.